Hi everybody, today we're talking about the hot new topic, the weight loss shot. So if you've been struggling with weight loss for a long time, you probably have heard about these weight loss shots, Ozempic and Wegovy. We have a special guest today. We have vitamin expert Matt Major, who's going to come on the show and give us some alternatives that are safer and more natural. So I'll let Matt start coming on, let you guys start coming on. Hi everybody. Oh, there we are. I see you, Matt. This thing going. I'm out of breath. A little bit out of breath. I've been running through the house. There he is. Hi, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Darnell.
Good morning. Oh, okay, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Darnell Cox. I'm a 55-year-old gerontologist and healthy aging coach. Matt, tell us a little bit about you.
I work with Darnell on the supplement side and help formulate the line that she offers, and provide kind of an expert resource on sourcing, raw materials, products, formulas, testing, all that stuff, so she can choose the right things with the right research to offer.
Matt is being humble. Matt is a vitamin supplement expert. I've never met anybody that knows more information about vitamin supplements than Matt Major. So for those of you who have been on this channel before, you know that we cover all different types of topics. It's healthy aging from the inside out as well as from the outside in. Today we're talking about a hot topic, especially after seeing the Grammys and the award shows. You see the ever shrinking celebrities who are on these weight loss shots, Ozempic or Wegovy. So we're here today to not only talk about that subject, but some of the risks involved with that, and then to give some more natural, equally effective alternatives. So first, Matt, tell us a little bit about what these shots do.
You bet. So it's actually really simple. They've been around for a while, and they were originally created, formulated research for people that were type 2 diabetic. So there was some evidence, although they're not clear as to how they lower blood sugar. But really what the mechanism of action is it makes you feel full all the time. And one of the things that's not often talked about is that they actually slow the pace of how your food travels through the body, right? So it's making you feel full, but it's also kind of slowing down your natural metabolism, right? So which leads me to the question always of what happens when you stop, right?
Well, I can tell you what happens because I've got a lot of clients who have stopped. I have a lot of clients who have tried to stop. I've got one client in particular, and she allowed me to talk about this without, telling what her name, but I have one client in particular that's been on the shot now for 8 months. She's dropped a lot of weight, and every time she tries to get off, she has that rebound effect and she starts gaining weight, and she freaks out and goes back to the doctor and gets back on the shot. So I'm working with her, but there's so many different side effects that, the positive one being, for those who really need it, you lose a ton of weight, right? You lose a ton of weight. I think it's 2.2% of your total body weight in month 2. That's a lot of weight to lose that quickly. That's a lot of weight to lose that quickly. So there's a list of side effects. I'm just going to briefly go through this. And the interesting thing is the long-term side effects for the Wegovy and Ozempic we don't really know because it's such a new product. But just for those who are trying to figure out which is which, the Ozempic is FDA approved for type 2 diabetes, and Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss. But the ton of side effects, the most common is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach, abdominal pain, and constipation. Sounds fun, doesn't it? I mean, that's what everybody complains about, are those main things. But there's a lot of other stuff that's going on. Like you said, Matt, users who have stopped using Ozempic have reported weight gain, the dependency on weight loss methods, right? So being dependent on something that's not a natural sort of method, the yo-yo dieting that happens, that increases the risk of heart attacks and cardiovascular disorders. So there's a disease, there's a lot of stuff what I'm seeing a lot with clients who are with me for skincare is that when they are on this weight loss shot and they've lost weight very quickly, they get this, which is not important to you, Matt, but it's important to us. They get what they call Ozempic Face, where you've lost the fat in your face so much that you're having to go in and get filler because your skin is sagging, right? So that's also one of the negative effects. But it's expensive too. It's like $1,500 a month
Well, and
to get Ozempic.
not only is it expensive, but I always, with the industry that I work in, and I always look at things foundationally, right? So
Yeah.
when we look at drugs are always treating kind of if you could imagine a tree, the tree branches, right? And when you take a drug, you're not really addressing anything foundationally. So when you ignore the foundational part of things, like when I think of all this weight loss, 2%, all these things happening, what's happening to your muscle, right? How are you leading or setting yourself up for a significant injury at some point if you're not doing, the right amount of weight training to keep your muscle tone up, right? So all these things have a yin and a yang, as you mentioned. And when you lose that amount of weight that fast, there's going to be downside, right? And if you don't have proper training and proper coaching to guide you through that, down the road, you're going to probably experience things you never imagined.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of equate it to like you went on a big, you ate like shit, like terrible eating habits, not really exercise. You went on like something where your jaw was wired shut and you lost all this weight. Well, what happens when you don't have that wired jaw shut anymore? I'm just using that as an analogy. It's like you're going to go back. You don't have the foundation you're going to go back and put that weight on. But there's also, in addition to that, because I saw a question come up, if you're not pre-diabetic, do these shots dip your blood sugar level so low to the point where you could be, have some serious problems? And there are some serious, stomach disorder, diarrhea, cramps, okay. Weight loss, weight gain again, okay. But then there's the serious things that can happen. And that is one of them, your blood sugar level dropping too low. But also, there's a lot of studies that are coming out, even on the Ozempic website, that thyroid cancer has been detected in mice. Now, mice aren't important, right? Just because it causes cancer in mice doesn't mean it causes cancer in us. It's not something I would want to really kind of mess around with because, yeah, in high doses, everything is going to cause different things in different animals, but it is at the beginning stages of that. And so down the road, if you've got thyroid cancer that's in your family, you absolutely do not want to be on this. If you have any sort of pancreatitis, it will make pancreatitis worse. There's a lot of, thyroid is the big one, but also being hypoglycemic. So it could drop your blood sugar level low. You could pass out, sweating, slurred speech, hunger, confusion. All of this stuff are symptoms of your blood sugar level being too low, which you can get from a weight loss shot that is, what is a natural version of Epic? Okay, so hold on one second. And also kidney problems. So kidney problems can be an issue as well, and you cannot use this when you're pregnant or nursing. Okay, there's a lot of like bad stuff about it, but I have to say this. I do have clients on it who are pre-diabetic or who are type 1 diabetic, and it has literally saved their life. So when we're talking about it like that, your metabolic health and longevity, if you're obese, if you're pre-diabetic, if you're in metabolic distress, this is something that I think is worth going to the doctor and kind of trying to figure out if it's something that works for you. But that said, with all of the negative stuff, there are more natural ways to do this. So, there's a lot of stuff that talks about like, the apple cider vinegar and, different things like that. The sea moss. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, Matt. Have you heard anything about sea moss helping with this?
I have not.
Okay. It's supposed to be great. It's a great source of iodine. It's great for your thyroid. Okay. But then we have the normal stuff that normal people would do. Limit your sugar, exercise more, like all of this stuff. But let's talk about what we decided to do, Matt, because this is a whole other way of getting the same results, longer period of time, but similar results to the shot in supplements. So I'm gonna let you take it
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there.
So when we started this discussion a few months ago about what we could do to address this, I always think and present foundationally. So the products that we came up with are all natural sourced. They're all foundational, and essentially what they're meant to do is mimic, or the bundle is meant to mimic what you're trying to accomplish with a GLP-1 agonist, a semaglutide. Okay, so if you think about the specific mechanism of action that a semaglutide accomplishes, it's really just one thing.
You guys, I want to
Yep.
just jump in here real quick, because semaglutide, if you're asking about what about this weight loss shot, what about that weight loss shot, they're all semaglutide, which is that the one ingredient which you were talking about. And so it's just about the dosage, right? Because if you're doing Ozempic, that is prescribed for pre-diabetic and diabetic, it's a different dosage than the Wegovy that's made for weight loss, FDA approved for weight loss. Both of them, everybody, is semaglutide.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. And there's GLP-1s, and now there's SGL2s or T2s, which are another version that's coming out for specifically geared towards weight loss. But at the end of the day, their mechanism of action is satiety, right? They kind of
Yeah.
make you full for a long period of time. So you eat a little bit and you're full. And like I mentioned earlier, they slow down how you actually move food through your body. So it kind of slows your metabolism, right? So we thought, hey, what could we provide at a foundational level to mimic and what we actually do on a daily basis, and have a more natural approach. So the very first product that came to mind for me was fiber, right? Most people are fiber deficient. Most people
Yeah.
don't get anywhere near enough fiber in their diet every day. And then an interesting note is when you start, let's say you try to have a drastic change and you start eating a lot more vegetables, you might feel worse for a little period of time, right? Because your body's not used to breaking down all these fibers and these types of foods. So Fiber Lean is a very simple product that's going to promote satiety. So you could take this, like, let's say you're doing intermittent fasting and you want to do that approach where you're not going to eat for 12 or 14 hours a day, but it's 11 a.m. or 12 and you're craving food. You could just take a little scoop of this. It's very small, and within 15 minutes, probably less, you're not going to feel as hungry as you were, and that you're tricking the body, just like a GLP-1 agonist is doing, into not being hungry anymore, right? And then we're
I
also
love that.
supporting that natural flow through the body. So we're actually speeding up how this gets through your body, how this food gets through your body, versus slowing it down like a semaglutide would.
Exactly. So you guys, I have been preaching about fiber for so long. We're so concerned with getting the amount of protein that we need in our diets. But honestly, if we just shift that focus to trying to get as much fiber as we possibly can, fiber comes in the form of, you can get a supplement like this, which I love and I take daily. But fiber is not in animals, it's in vegetables. And so my stress has always been a low protein diet. Don't get me started because we'll be on another topic, but a low protein diet, but as much fiber as I possibly can get in, because it does do that thing. It tricks your body into thinking that you're full. And it also slows down the way that the sugar hits your bloodstream. So anytime that you have fiber, I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here. Anytime that you eat fiber first, you guys have heard me talk about layering your food the way that you eat it. But when you eat the fiber first, it creates a mesh inside your intestines. Look at this. That's solid. It's soluble fiber. It creates a mesh inside your intestines. And when you eat after this, 15 minutes afterwards, it slows down the way that the carbohydrates, the processed sugars and things hit your bloodstream, because it creates a mesh in that small intestines. So anytime you can slow down the way that the sugar hits your bloodstream, it's going to be far less likely to be stored as fat. So this is product number 1 in our Ozempic Weight Essential Kit. Ozempic Weight Essential Kit. Fiber Lean. Fiber is our friend, folks. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
So I just saw a quick question. How long do you take it before a meal? 15 minutes, give or take. You can take it longer. If you're trying to skip a meal, like I mentioned, you could just take this, and literally within 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to just kind of forget that you were hungry. So it's a very small scoop. It's completely soluble, so it's going to
Mhm.
expand in your stomach. Like you saw her put it in water. She left it there all day. It would eventually become like Jello. but
I'm
that's
going
what
to
you
leave
want.
this. I'm going to leave this during our live so people can see. Normally what you would do, and Creative Eye Candy just had a comment. She said, it doesn't taste bad. It tastes like nothing. And so
Nothing.
when you stir it right away and you drink it, like I stir it and guzzle it, it has a little bit of like a boba kind of feel to it. Zero taste. I guzzle it down, but I'm going to wait for this whole live and show you what happens to this when it sits in your stomach, because you don't drink it after it's sat. You drink it and then this starts forming, this mesh of fiber starts forming in your gut. Okay, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
You got it. So the next one is actually a probiotic, but it's a special probiotic. So the company that I work with, we specialize in sourcing the most well-researched formulas, raw materials, products in the industry. And this is a specific strain called B420, which is a patented strain specifically geared for belly fat loss. So basically what it does is it supports your body's endogenous way. We have a enzyme in our body called Akkermansia that specifically eats up sugary fatty substances in our bodies, right? And so that's already naturally occurring. What this does by taking it is it promotes gut health, which is key, but it supports that creation of that enzyme in our body. Okay, so very simple mechanism of action with great research behind it. The key to this is it's not like you're going to take this for a week and lose weight, right? Again, we're looking at a foundational level. So we started with fiber. Now we're starting with this, which is going to promote gut health and that creation of Akkermansia in the body, which over the long term is going to promote belly fat loss. So what we see is typically for the first 3 months, not a big difference. But months 4, 5, 6, 7, we see a big difference in the studies associated with this strain. And I'll just add, there's increased efficacy when you take it alongside fiber, healthy amounts of fiber.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of those double-blind placebo studies where they're combining this. There's a lot of research on these two products combined together with weight loss. Now, listen, you might not get the 1 month or 2 month version of 2.2% of your body weight lost when you're doing this. It's going to be a little slower. We're looking at months 4 and 5 as opposed to months 1 and 2, but you're still getting that weight loss in a natural, sustainable way, right? Without any bounce back.
Yep. And then
okay.
One key point too, just as a more general topic when you're assessing supplements, right? And what supplements to choose and whatnot, is these are delivered in a nitrogen purged environment blister pack, right? So you can see she's going to pull it out of the box there. And that's key. These are alive, right? They're not meant to be exposed to drastic changes in the environment. So the way these are delivered, each one is delivered in a nitrogen purge, its own little environment. It's safe and it maintains stability. And that's the main thing that we're after here. So these are manufactured at the clinical dose, or they're labeled at the clinical dose of 10 billion CFUs.
Yep.
But actually they're manufactured at 30 billion to account for degradation over time, because we don't know when this is going to be taken, whether that's the day after it was manufactured or 9 months after it was manufactured.
So you guys, if you guys are having a probiotic and it's in a bottle, just a bottle, an open bottle, you're looking at dead bugs there, right, yep. Matt? I mean,
dead bugs, or you don't know actually how much is in there, and neither does the company. And that's so all of the products that Darnell offers are all stability tested, meaning that we can predict the stability through the date on the box, okay, or the bottle, and guarantee that matches or exceeds the label claim.
Yep. Love it. And this is like, I take this daily, but I do realize when I started taking this, I used to be on the daily probiotic, and when I started taking this and this combination, I did realize I got a little bit more shredded in my midsection from this. And it was like, maybe on month 3 is when I noticed, oh my gosh, I think that my belly is reducing in size. And I was seeing a little bit more of abdominal muscle with those two. So.
Yep. And the easiest way to think about it is what you're doing is promoting the growth, if you will, of little critters down there that are eating the source of belly fat. That's what it's doing, like in the most layman's terms I can put. So, all right.
I love that. Those are critters that we like. I'm going to just show you this so far what
There you
we've got. This
go.
is the
Come,
fiber lean. So we're looking at now, I'm looking at the clock. This is about 15 minutes after mixing this. You drink this right away, so you don't drink it like this, but this is what it forms in your stomach. This soluble kind of mesh on the intestines that slows down and mitigates the way that the sugar from your food hits your bloodstream. So,
and if you think about that one simple mechanism of a GLP-1 agonist, literally what that means is it promotes satiety, right? It makes you feel full, and that's what we're doing there. So if you can remember to take this instead of grabbing a snack when you're not supposed to eat, in 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to forget you were hungry. And so we've accomplished that one goal, right?
Yeah.
And then that second mechanism is we're trying to work at this foundationally with a probiotic. So, okay, to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's move on.
Cool. So this is my favorite one to talk about because it has so much history in the world I'm in, and that's berberine. So I'm going to guess everybody that's on this has probably heard the word berberine, the raw material berberine. So basically,
we
this
had
is a second
question a little bit earlier that said, "Can you double up on berberine?"
Yeah, I'll address that.
Somebody asked that. So
great question. So essentially, berberine has been around for 30 years. It is the most researched raw material in my world. It's respected from cardiologists all the way down to primary care doctors. They recognize the research. When I meet with a physician and they ask me, hey, bring me some legitimate evidence on a raw material, I'll bring berberine first. So for the longest time, the raw material that we've been using is called berberine HCl, okay? The downside to HCl berberine, if you've ever taken it before, is you may have experienced some discomfort in the gut. It kind of messes with how you overall feel in the gut and causes some disturbances, to just put it lightly, right? So the reason for that is it's kind of like a natural antibiotic. So it goes in and it kind of can kill, it can destroy, it can mess things up. But once it gets into the blood is the mechanism of action for what we're talking about for blood sugar. So let me just take one step back. This berberine is what we call a dihydroberberine. It's a second generation berberine, okay? And Darnell's one of the first to have it.
Yeah.
And what that means is it's a water soluble form. So when it goes into the gut, it's not going to irritate your gut, okay? It's not going to act like that antimicrobial natural antibiotic. But what it does is it easily passes through into the bloodstream. And once it passes through into the bloodstream, it actually oxidizes, which in this case is a good thing, into that HCl form at a ratio of 1 to 5. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, the clinical dose of berberine HCl, if you look at all the research, is 1 gram or 2 grams a day. So I'm going to address that question right now. So if you went, 5 years ago to a doctor and they recommended berberine for diabetes and weight loss, they would have you probably take a gram, especially if you have elevated blood sugar, a gram twice a day.
Right.
Well, you can get away with this. Each one of her capsules is 200 milligrams. So 200 times 5 is 1 gram. So this oxidizes at a rate of 1 to 5, which is equivalent to that 1 gram dose that we're looking for without any of the side effects. So you can either take this once per day, okay? Or you can take this twice per day. So once in the morning or once in the evening. It's a 60 count bottle. And the distinction that I would give is, do you have an elevated fasting blood glucose? So in my world, 90, right? If you're over 90, the twice a day is going to be good. If you're under 90, one's going to be perfect.
And you guys, that's a normal standardized test that if you go to your doctor, they draw your blood, they will normally do a fasting glucose level. That's when you fast before you go and get your blood draw, and they test the amount of glucose in your blood. So Matt is saying at that level of 90, which I think is a decent level to say, because a lot of doctors now are edging that number up to 100, sometimes 120 is okay. And I'm like, that's not okay. That's not what our resting blood sugar level is supposed to be at. Those people have increased their set point of where their glucose is. And that is the beginning stages of insulin, insensitivity, desensitizing insulin. That's not a good thing. But so Matt is saying, if that resting blood glucose level comes back at 90, you've got a little bit, you're starting to get a little bit of metabolic, not syndrome, but
it's actually, so there's 5 analytes for metabolic syndrome, and that's the first one. If your fasting glucose is above 90, that's considered a marker for metabolic syndrome.
There
Not
you go.
diabetes, okay? But it's one of the markers for that, right? So we want to get that down closer to 80. So
Closer
that's
to 80. Creative Eye Candy just said, what is this? This is Meta Health Next Level. This is the berberine that Matt has been talking about. On my line, I'm calling this Meta Health because it's about your metabolic health, right?
So just real quick, I'll touch on, so what is the mechanism of action for berberine? Why is that in here? Okay, we touched on fiber. We touched on a probiotic, berberine. Okay, so berberine is basically something that activates an enzyme in our body called AMPK kinase, AMP kinase, okay? AMPK. You can research that, you can Google it. The thing that best activates AMPK is exercise, consistent exercise, okay? So what berberine's doing is kind of mimicking the benefits of exercise. So I relate it to like being like a sump pump, okay? If you think of how a sump pump works, it's helping activate and pull out all the bad, right? So by activating AMPK, we're activating or turning on all the analytes that are associated with metabolic syndrome. So think weight loss,
Amazing.
think blood pressure, think blood sugar, all those things.
Amazing. In a natural form.
That's right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This is like, I put every single one of my weight loss clients on this, and now I'm bundling it up. This has kind of been what has instigated this bundle is when we're talking about weight loss, what are those avenues for weight loss, right? And we just covered them.
And we're working at it. We're doing it at a foundational level. So
right.
Yes, you're not going to lose 20 pounds in the first month, but if you're serious about weight loss and long-term weight loss, healthy weight loss, this is a much better solution for probably most of the people out there that are looking for that and are willing to make substantive changes to their daily life, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yep. And then just to reiterate, this is not berberine that you find. If you go and you Google berberine and you go and you hop on Amazon, whatever, if it says HCl, those are apples and oranges. This is a second generation berberine called dihydroberberine. It's water soluble, so completely different science.
Yeah, not all berberines created equally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you have to really know what you're putting in your products and what you're putting in your body. Okay, so what's our next thing? Because we've got a little add-on.
Yeah, so that was our bundle. So we
bundle.
created this bundle, and I think for most people, this is going to be great. Now we have a fourth product that you could add on.
Well, before we do that, I just want to tell people what is the price. So because we're giving a big discount today, because that's what we like to do. So this is you can DM me. Here's the way to get the link for this bundle. It's a 3-product bundle. And it is called the Ozempic. It's called the No-Zempic Weight Essential Bundle. You can DM me the words "no shot," not here, but when I post this to my main feed, which I will do right after we get off of here. Just DM. You can either DM me or you can put in the comment section "no shot." And that's going to get you the link sent to your DMs, and you can get 20% off of this whole bundle, right?
Yep.
Yes. And I believe I think it's how much is it?
$152.24 before the discount, yeah.
$152.24 before the discount. 3 products, and we've got in here, this is a 30-day supply. If you're doing this once a day, this is a 2-month supply. Of the berberine, and this is I want to say this probably lasts me a good month as well.
At least, yeah. So it's designed, the berberine would be 2 caps a day or 1 cap a day, like you said. So it's either a 1 or 2 month supply. Fiber is going to be basically a 1 month supply, especially if you're doing 2 scoops a day, and the same with the probiotic.
If you're oh sorry, Matt. If your glucose level, your fasting glucose level is 90 or above, that's when you would say you should be taking two caplets a day, and this would last you a month.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you're like me and your resting glucose level, your fasting glucose level is lower, then once a day is fine. Correct, Matt?
100%.
Okay.
And I would just emphasize, like, if you're going to do this and make the investment for at least 6 months. Don't do this for a month and say I'm done, right? You're wasting your time. Supplements, like, they don't work that way, right? I always use the analogy, if you're eating McDonald's every day and then you decide to eat a healthy salad one day. Are you any healthier? No,
Yeah.
right? We want to make changes, and we want to help our body slowly make these changes over
Right.
time.
We don't want Ozempic face. We don't want all the fat to like disappear. We don't want to be on these yo-yo diets. We want to do things naturally, and naturally takes a little bit longer. So you will see, there's a lot of research on these double-blind studies, placebo. There's a lot of research on this stuff. You will get those results, but it just is going to take time, which is better for your health anyways. We're not supposed to lose 2.2% of our body weight in 2 months because we're taking a shot. That's not what is the best thing for us, unless, of course, you're in metabolic distress and you have type 2 diabetes and your life is at risk. Then by all means, get the shot, right? But otherwise, this is a more natural, longer version with still the same great results. Okay, let's talk about our add-on.
Yeah, this is super simple. So basically, if you feel like, part of the hindrance to you being able to control what you eat and maybe making poor decisions at certain times of the day, it doesn't just boil down to willpower, right? It boils down to, you may have a chemical imbalance of neurotransmitters in your body, right? And so how can we
called sugar addiction?
There you go, right? You got it.
You might have a chemical imbalance of neurotransmitters in your body. Sugar addiction.
It's been proven. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine, right? And it's in everything. So basically, this is just a grouping of key amino acids that help support the biosynthesis of healthy neurotransmitters in our body, which basically the result means how we control our appetite. So how we manage our cravings for carbohydrates and for fat, for sugars, those types of things, right? So that's all this is. So if you feel like, hey, that's going to be something that I need, and you're not overly sensitive to things like caffeine and things like that, there's no caffeine in this, but basically what you're going to feel is when you take this, especially if you take 4 caps, like, you're going to be wired in a good way. You're going to be,
and that's because, isn't it like it's a precursor to serotonin?
That's right. One of the 5-HTP is a precursor to serotonin, which is also a precursor to melatonin. So if you've ever been prescribed or read about 5-HTP and you take 5-HTP as an alternative to melatonin, all you're doing, much like that probiotic conversation we were having, is you're supporting the endogenous or inside production, how your body naturally produces melatonin, right? Or serotonin.
Yeah. So we're naturally supporting our own body and producing serotonin. So when I take this, I have to say, I don't, because if we're looking at like all of those receptors that light up with sugar and processed carbs, we're reaching for those to light those up, and we're doing this naturally with that. So I feel a little bit lift in my mood when I'm taking these.
And alternatively, when you're craving sugar, well, what are you really looking for? You're looking for a solution to that craving, right? Okay. Well, this can be a solution because it's going to make you forget about the craving for the sugar, because now you've gotten a fill somewhere else. And that's the whole idea with Crave Control. So when you look at this as a complete bundle of what we're trying to do, one, Berberine, we're trying to activate that sump pump of your body, okay, to trick the body into thinking you're exercising, if you will. Now, still exercise, but activating all those things associated with metabolic syndrome.
Wait, did you guys hear that? We are tricking the body into thinking we're still exercising. How fabulous is that?
Yep.
I mean, come on. That's fabulous.
It's the beauty of Berberine, right? and again, this is a dehydroberberine, so it's a second generation berberine. So you're going to get a lot more benefit, bang for your buck, without a lot of the downside that maybe if you've taken berberine in the past, you've felt. Yeah. Number 2, a probiotic that's been researched specifically for belly fat weight loss, okay? Belly fat loss, okay? And then it's also just a great probiotic for general health, okay? Gut health. 3, fiber, which is, I think, if you're only going to do one thing, do the fiber. Like, fiber is key.
You guys, if you're only going to do one thing, you can change your metabolic health with fiber alone. I promise you, I've seen it in so many clients. Just by adding fiber, you're crowding out all the other crap that you're putting in your body. This is what happens it creates that mesh and it slows down the way that the sugar hits your bloodstream. You don't drink it like this, obviously, but this is what happens in your stomach. Imagine this. You're going to fit a lot less food in there, and the food that you are going to fit in is going to hit your bloodstream in a lot slower amount, a lot slower rate. Okay, sorry.
That's why that's key. Take it before you eat. Drink lots of water, especially if you're not used to fiber. Drink lots of water because you will have a touch of constipation because your body needs to adjust to the amount of fiber, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
It's also soluble, which is going to have a lot less constipation.
Right.
But
exactly.
yeah.
And then the last part, if you feel like you're fit for it, you can add on Crave control. I would just advise with this, like ease into it. Take 1 or 2 caps in the morning, take 1 or 2 caps in the afternoon. Don't take it at night. Those types of things. Let your body adjust. If you're super sensitive to things like caffeine, it may not be a fit for you, or you may just start with 1 cap. But once your body adjusts to it, essentially what we're doing is replacing the craving for a sugar with serotonin, with being happy.
Yeah, and it's vitamin C, vitamin B6, chromium, L-tyrosine, L-glutamine. I mean, it's got good stuff in it in addition to that, right? So we're really supporting the neurotransmitters in the brain that make serotonin. Kind of cool.
Yep. And that bottle is a 120 count. It's going to last a long time.
It lasts a long time.
You know, I don't have many people that I know that take 8 caps a day. You're probably taking 2 caps twice a day, maybe 4 caps once a day. So it's going to last a long time.
Here's how I use this, because my diet, I'm pretty good with my diet. I'm pretty spot on. Look, I wouldn't do all this stuff if I didn't, if I wasn't health conscious. I'm a health coach. Hello. So I'm pretty good with my diet, but the way that I use this is like during those times of year when, like it just beckons us to like eat, I'll use that then during the holidays. Like I'll have a couple of this, I'll have a couple caplets in the morning, a couple after lunch. And I feel like it has really helped with that sweet tooth that happens around 4 o'clock. So I love this, and I don't take this every single day, but I do take it during certain times of year when we have those food-centric holidays. Easter's coming up, so I don't know how you guys feel about those marshmallow bunnies, but but during times like, Christmas and things like that, during times where I feel like, wow, there's just so many options and I want to eat them all. That's when I kind of incorporate this. But the main foundational support is through here, these 3.
There you go. And I saw one question on there. Is it like a multi? I would say no. It's a multi for neurotransmitters, if you will, but definitely not a multi. We have a product that she offers that's a multi. So
I have a product. So let's just talk about, first of all, okay, so how do we get this, and how do we get this to people very cheap? You guys got to comment no shot, NOSHOT, no shot, in the comment section after I post this to my main feed. When you do that, Ellen Valinsky, when you do that, when I post this, if you just put the comment no shot and then check your DM, you'll get a link to this product, to this weight loss bundle, and you'll get 20% off. So the key word is no shot. And this is the Ozempic Weight Essential Bundle, the 3 products, and this is the add-on product, the Crave Control.
Okay.
What do you think? There's a question, any thoughts on carnitine? And
I love carnitine. Carnitine is another product that she offers actually in the multi. Carnitine has a lot of functions, not necessarily associated with weight loss, but with mitochondrial function and overall ATP production energy, and some cardiovascular benefits.
There's another question, can you take with coffee? I'm assuming you're talking about the Crave Control, and I'm going to say yes, because I do it all the time. You just don't want to take it really later in the evening, and not that it has caffeine in it, but it's like, it just kind of lights up, helps you with the serotonin. So it naturally kind of picks you up. I feel like it lifts my mood a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue you could almost do this in, like, let's say you're trying to reduce coffee or quit coffee or caffeine, like you could do this instead and feel great.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, I'm trying to scroll back to see if there was anything. Can you test that at home with the glucose tester? You can test your glucose at home, a fasting glucose. You just wake up, don't eat anything, don't drink anything, don't do anything, and test your glucose. I'm not sure how those compare with going into an office, but Yeah, you want to make sure that your fasting glucose level is under 90. And this whole kit is literally designed to help get that to that point. What time of day do you take the Berberine, which is Meta Health? What time a day do you take the Meta Health and the probiotic? Matt, do you want to take
So
that one?
with the berberine, I would just say if you're doing it twice a day, space it out 8 hours, so AM,
Yeah.
PM. You're not going to feel anything from it. If you take it with food's fine, take it without, it's fine. The probiotic doesn't matter. There's evidence pointing to everything that you could imagine. What I would just say is take it and try to take it with the fiber. So let's say, a great time would be 30 minutes before dinner with your fiber before you eat dinner.
Yeah. You know what I do, Matt? I don't know if this is right, but this is kind of what I do. I do the fiber like 15, 20 minutes before two of my biggest meals. I save the probiotic lean until before I go to bed.
Yeah, that's fine too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of want the fiber and my food to go down and everything's settled, and then I throw a little good bugs on top of that. So at night it gets to populate everything right on top. That's kind of how I do it. I let the fiber go down first and then put the good bugs in there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add? That was a good question, Elizabeth. I just saw Elizabeth's question. Let me see if there was anything else that came up. I'm scrolling. Just a lot of highs. Hi, everybody. Okay, we're going to get off of here because I know, Matt, you've got something to do. Matt, thank you so much. For those of you guys who have been struggling with weight loss and you don't want to do all of the the things that are out there, that there's really not any long-term studies on not the effectiveness, but the negative side effects. Using more natural ways and supplements is going to get you there. It might take a little bit longer. Be a little bit patient. And Shareg, I don't know how to pronounce that. Put the no shot, the little keywords, no shot, when I post this to my main feed. It's going to come to you in about 5 minutes. I'm going to post this on my feed and then put the no shot and you'll get that in your DM. Matt, thank you so much for being here.
I was just going to add one thing. Just overall conversation is, on Darnell's website, we post the supplement facts, which to each product, and people always ask me like, hey, how do you know if it's a good supplement or not? The first thing I always look for is, can you readily find the supplement facts box? If you're going to a website and someone's selling you a supplement and you can't find the supplement facts box, don't buy the product. Okay?
Buy the product if you can't find but what about this, Matt?
That means they're hiding stuff from you. So what you're going to see on all of hers is the supplement facts box listed with all the raw materials, and then little medallions like that. Is that the Albion Labs?
Yeah.
One? Right. So basically, and then you can kind of do a little bit of homework and research. Hey, what's Albion Labs?
Yeah.
And what you're going to find is all the minerals that are in her products are basically the most well-researched materials for minerals in the world, sourced from a company called Albion Labs. And all that means is, if you've ever taken, let's say, like iron, and you're like, oh, it makes me constipated. Well, that's not going to happen with these types of minerals because they're chelated, or they're bound to an amino acid, which makes them readily absorbable in the gut, right? So my point is, look at the sub facts. If you want to learn about the products, research those. Those tell the story.
Yeah. And we didn't mess around. We gave you guys the good stuff. Like, there's no sense in wasting your money. You can get products that are cheaper, that are going to be ineffective, and you don't have any idea if there's fillers or heavy metals or what's in them, if the products are actually effective. And we did not hold back with this line because it is a line that I wanted to take myself. I'm not going to sell you guys something or suggest something that I'm not already incorporating every single day for myself. And I'm very picky in what I put in my body. That's why I decided to come up with my own supplement line in the first place. So this is going to post to my main site. Make sure that you comment no shot and then check your DMs afterwards. Thank you so much, Matt. I'm going to have you back on the next bundle that we come up with. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Okay.
For now, thanks everyone.
Bye.